Welcome back to Arise America. We return now to our interview with Congressman Charles Rangel. I spoke with him earlier today about President Obama's My Brother's Keeper initiative. This was basically put together a few months ago, and there are 6 basic initiatives, and I want to read those initiatives off to you. Getting a healthy start and entering school ready to learn, reading grade level by the 3rd grade, graduating from high school ready for college and career, completing post-secondary education or training, successfully entering the workforce, and last but not least, keeping kids on track and giving them second chances. I think that's great. Now, you were with the president and supporting him on this initiative. What measures are now being put in place to ensure these 6 critical steps are being put into place?
This is not really a legislative initiative. The president is making a plea for the private sector, foundations and companies to come forward to support these programs. It's a voluntary thing. It's a great initiative, but I cannot overemphasize the problems that we're facing does not lend itself to voluntary programs. And when we talk about avoiding kids from going to jail, this is an epidemic of kids with criminal records, willing to take risk, and the other efforts because they think that having a criminal record is hopeless for them to get a job. And so what I'm saying is that I know you're focusing on our brother's keepers, but I don't want any black kid to go to bed tonight and really think that this program is going to touch him. And I want to give hope to everybody, but I don't want to give false hopes. This is a minor gesture in the right direction, and it's better than nothing. And quite frankly, the reason I fought so hard for these last 2 years is because I'm aware of the impediments that's been placed in front of our president for 6 years in stopping everything that he wants to do. And what I want to see in the president is not promised lands and not my brother's keepers, but to let the country know that if we want economic security and national security, we have to go into these communities, we have to clean it up, we have to put these kids into work projects, we have to teach them to read and write, we have to give them self-esteem, and we have to go to war, actually, to save our communities if we're going to save our nation. Well, and so these suggestions that we have with my brother's keeper, and I might add, our sisters need a heck of a lot of help too, but it's a gesture in having out there what should be a national mandate.
Okay, well, that's the question I want to ask you then. It's sobering what you're saying here in terms of my brother's keeper not being a stronger measure to help our children. I guess the question I have to ask you, Congressman, then what specifically do you think can be done to help it? I know parental involvement is key. Outside of that, what else can be done?
Well, right now, they're talking about having a trade agreement with 20 countries. And there's a big problem in it because there's no jobs involved. What a great opportunity the president would have if he says, if you give me the trade agreement that I need, and I will add to that, given the infrastructure that we need in jobs and bridges and roads in order to support trade. And in addition to that, I would make certain that science and technology and engineering and mathematics will be there in order for us to lead in the area of trade. That's what it's going to take. It's going to take that we need these kids, not we're just trying to help kids that have no dads or kids that are doing the wrong thing. We have to say our nation cannot afford to do nothing, and we need a vehicle to do it. And as long as the answer is lock them up and keep them out of sight, we'll never deal with the problem we're facing as a country, and a rich country, I might add.
Congressman, the last question I have for you with that trade agreement, you know some Democrats are opposed to it. What will you think it will take to get Democrats on board on this trade agreement that will bring the needed jobs you're talking about into the inner cities for youth?
I am telling you, and everyone agrees with me, if the president was to include with Republicans and Democrats an infrastructure program a jobs program and an education program, he would get strong bipartisan support for this trade promotional partnership, Pacific Partnership, in a minute. The way it is now, we know the multinationals will make money. We know that 99% of Americans' wealth is in less than 1%. It's the corporate structure that's going to benefit. And there's nothing in this agreement that says that fairness and equity is going to be provided for the working people. The middle class are not included in the negotiations for jobs and education. However, the multinationals are included because they know what they want to import and they know what they want to export. This bill is too narrowly written.
Okay,
and the reason I haven't knocked it is because I want to see it get better.
All right, that'll have to be the last word. Congressman Charles Rangel, always great hearing from you, sir.
Thank you. Keep up the good work.